Congratulations to the graduates of the Colorado Law Enforcement Training Academy. We're so proud of you, and I am pleased and honored to introduce to you today your keynote speaker. Heather Dugan is a Colorado native. She has spent her life exploring the backyard of Colorado as a hunter, hiker, and outdoor enthusiast. She's also risen up through the ranks and is the first woman to lead law enforcement for Colorado Parks and Wildlife. I'm confident that you will enjoy her message today. Please enjoy Heather Dugan.
Thank you, President Hauser, for the honor and privilege of being part of this milestone ceremony. My name is Heather Dugan, and I'm an Assistant Director for Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Hello, family and friends. You must be so proud of the women and men of this year's graduating class of the Colorado Mountain College Colorado Law Enforcement Training Academy. For the next few minutes, I'm going to speak directly to these graduates, and it's a very personal conversation, but please listen in. Congratulations. You are graduating from citizen to scholar warrior. Let me explain this phrase by reading a quote attributed to Thucydides, the ancient Greek historian and general. The nation that makes great distinction between its scholars and its warriors will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools. What does this mean to you? What should it mean? A scholar is an intelligent and well-educated person who knows a particular subject very well. A warrior is a person who fights in battles, and these can be physical or intellectual battles, and is known for having courage and skill. Do you see how these roles are intertwined? Now, there may be some people who would say that in these challenging times, we should not equate peace officers with warriors, because the perception could be that the police are waging battle against citizens. This is troubling. As peace officers, nothing should be further from the truth. As peace officers and scholar warriors, the battles we wage should be against evil and injustice. As a scholar, you've just completed your very first steps in the education that you will receive as a peace officer. You may not know it yet, but you are about to get the most endlessly fascinating learning experience you could ever hope for. You will see and experience some of the most glorious examples of the richness and beauty of creation. You will also see the darkest evil that some allow to flourish in their hearts. You will encounter a vast and varied landscape of experience that most of humankind will never tread upon. Take advantage of this gift and use it to better yourself, and more importantly, to better the world around you. And never, ever stop learning. You will soon have loved ones pinning your badges on your uniform shirt. You will be taking your oaths at your respective agencies, whether it's your sheriff's department or your police department. Once that badge is pinned on over your heart for the first time, and every moment beyond that, your words and actions will be evaluated. And not just by your supervisors and trainers, but also by the court of public opinion. And your words and actions will not only represent you, they will also have a direct influence on how your sisters and brothers in law enforcement are perceived. This is a great responsibility. Graduates, one day I was standing in your shoes, and someday you will be standing in mine. And as I reflect on my career, I want to share with you questions we should be asking ourselves as we all continue to learn and carry on the noble traditions and service ethic of our profession. As the next generation of scholar warriors, you will change the face of law enforcement in the United States. My question for you is, will you choose to change it for the better? You have been told for the last semester that your safety is paramount. What if I told you that playing it safe isn't about safety at all? We could divide all of our safety decisions into two types of categories. We could label the first of these as survival decisions, those that are survival-based. These include things like using good tactics when effecting an arrest, wearing your body armor, putting on your personal flotation device, and fastening your seatbelt when you're driving, or exercising diplomacy even when you disagree with your supervisor. There's another type of decision out there too, fearful decisions. These are the decisions that we may make that keep us from achieving great things. Decisions like this may include staying silent if you see a fellow officer do something unethical, or not getting out there in your communities and being there face to face to develop the critical individual relationships with the very people we are sworn to serve. As an officer, you will be vested with the authority and the power to make changes to people's lives. Will you have the courage to exercise the act of leadership, to work on the adaptive challenges that face us every day? You will encounter these challenges throughout your career, problems that are complex and that require sustained work from everyone to make lasting change. Authority can open doors to pave the way for great change. Consider, for example, the passage of the 19th Amendment 100 years ago this year. Even with the tireless work of women fighting for almost a century for the movement of suffrage, it took heart and action from those with the power, in this case men, to give way to a worthy cause. And the work did not end there. It took another 4 years for Native American women to be counted as American citizens and therefore eligible to vote. And still, there was more work to do. The passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 continued the adaptive work of removing the barriers that blocked people of color from exercising their constitutional right to vote. Now, how is this relevant to a peace officer in the state of Colorado in 2020? We can choose to use our authority as peace officers to further justice and equity in our society and to maintain relevance in our communities. There are hidden dangers in playing it safe, in maintaining the status quo, but we rarely hear any warnings about playing it safe, do we? We don't see headlines like, "Officer retires after a mediocre law enforcement career and feels painful remorse that he never laid anything on the line to make the world a better place." That headline and that life is the real tragedy. If someone observed our profession for a few months, what would they write about us? Would it be, "Law enforcement community tries desperately to hang on to antiquated ways of conducting business in the flawed hope that they can maintain the status quo forever"? Or would it be, "Peace officers serving a vital role in our society create strong bonds as members of their communities"? Now, this is a message that may make some of us, especially some of us who have been around a while, very uncomfortable. But sometimes we need to be pushed out of our comfort zone. When you really think about it, there is no growth in the comfort zone and no growth in the comfort zone. And there is no growth in the comfort zone and no comfort in the growth zone. So push yourself in your calling. The vast majority of us who are called to be a peace officer do so because we want to serve our communities. All of us need to examine how we might better do that through our actions and through our words. Have the courage to question everything, to challenge the status quo. Ask yourself things like, what will police work look like in 5 years? What are citizens worried about? Where are we reaching out to our communities effectively? Where are we failing to communicate? What strengths aren't we capitalizing on? What opportunities are we letting slip through our fingers? Then, ask those same questions to the civilians you serve. Listen to their words and believe their hearts. The world is moving fast. If we are not critically reflecting on what we're doing, the world will make us irrelevant. Will you make mistakes by being bold? Of course you will. But the desire for safety stands against every great and noble enterprise. You were born with the ability to change someone else's life. Don't ever waste it. You decide every day who you will be and who you will not be. Be bold in your decisions, but remember to choose wisely. So, how do you do this by yourself? It's true, you need to have the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to others. But in reality, you cannot be entirely successful by yourself in this profession. Vince Lombardi once commented on individual commitment to a group effort by saying that individual effort is what makes a team work, a society work, and a civilization work. In other words, be committed individually to your agency's mission and to our collective mission as peace officers. So, that is with respect to your work team. What about your other team? Take the time to remember your loved ones. They were here for you before you attended the academy. They supported you as you trained hard, and they will be with you long after you've left this profession. Reassure them and remind them that you are called to this walk of life, and always make sure to spend the time with them that they and you deserve. Finally, we all know that as a profession, we are facing some particularly difficult challenges. So I am calling on you, the next generation of scholar warriors, to help us all navigate these troubled waters. Remember, anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm. We want, and need you to help all of us to chart a course and guide our communities to peaceful waters. Family and friends, with the greatest sincerity and gratitude, thank you. Thank you for sharing these amazing women and men with us and for allowing us to welcome them into our law enforcement community. We will do our best to love and care for them as well as you have. Scholar warriors, go out there and be safe, but don't play it safe. God's blessings to every one of you.